Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and today I want to talk about those scary articles that came out this weekend because I noticed that a lot of the top gaming journalists, a lot of the biggest gaming websites just all kind of started to talk about the fact that console games are dying. And specifically, I've seen a ton of people bashing PlayStation saying, yes, they're doing good. Yes, this recent quarter was their best ever. They just sold 9 million PS5s in 3 months, which still boggles the mind. People are saying PlayStation isn't doing good enough, and this is a bad sign for the future of video games. And I kind of want to push back on that. I kind of want to say, as a primarily console player, a person that spends way too many hours collecting platinum trophies, playing stuff on Game Pass, using my Nintendo Switch and stuff like that, I think console games are still in a very good spot. And even if PC gaming is blowing up, I feel like it's a bit soon to say that PlayStation is dead. Let me explain. Hi, hope you're having a great day. And if you could please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. So what sort of originally instigated this is that recently we got the sales numbers. Technically on Friday night, they published a bunch of raw data for how everybody's doing. Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, and they're all kind of in a very strange spot. Like PlayStation is still way out in the lead. People are buying tons of PlayStation 5s, PlayStation 5 Pros. But what's bizarre is that in certain regions like Japan, certain regions like Europe, where they actually publish specific digits, the numbers are down a whopping 21% for console sales. Now, when you see that, it sounds bad. Overall, gaming console sales down 21%, but a lot of this really is kind of riding on the shoulders of Xbox. Xbox just had the lowest console sales of the last 20 years. In all of 2024, they sold about 2.7 million consoles. This is like, when people say Xbox is in a bad spot, we mean that the bad spot is hell. Now, part of this, I feel like part of the conversation about PlayStation not doing better, they're still doing good. Obviously, they're freaking killing it. But I've seen a lot of people saying, I feel like there's not as much hype as there has been for PlayStation in previous generations. Stuff like the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2. Every other generation, there's been big exclusives, there's been quick releases, there's been fervor, there's been hype. Whereas now, a lot of what Sony's doing, even if it is generating a massive amount of profit, has been these remasters. Like, hey, we're doing a remaster of The Last of Us, even though that just came out. Days Gone remastered. Can we be real? This is terrible. Even if you're like a big fan of Days Gone, what are we even doing here? I honestly can't even tell if this is a prank. I mean, these screenshots could be a joke. I don't think they are. I think this is the actual remaster. I wanted to specifically dig, though, into these tweets by Destin Legary because a lot of people seem to be actually kind of mad at him. Now, I want to make it clear, even though I'm going to disagree with him here, I feel like Destin Legary, even when I think his conclusions are wrong, I like to see his thought process. He has in the past been a very big Xbox podcaster and an Xbox YouTuber. He's definitely been kind of branching out, talking about all sorts of different stuff in the market. But he said this: I don't understand how PlayStation fans can see that the PlayStation 5 is at 75 million when the PlayStation 4 in the same time frame was at 76 million and still jump in my replies that the console market is growing. This is an interesting take because I do think this is something that we don't really consider. The fact that they're only down 2%, there's a lot of other factors. People in the chat are saying, okay, well, there is stuff like there was pandemics, there was chip shortages and stuff. There's a lot of extraneous factors. Also, the PlayStation 5 has been very expensive. So there's a lot of other stuff that could make that 2% decrease. But I want to posit something, which is that I think part of what helped the PlayStation sell so well has in the past because of the foibles of Xbox. Like in the PlayStation 3 generation, when it's PlayStation 3 versus Xbox 360, we had direct comparisons of exclusives batting against each other, right? Gears of War versus Uncharted. We had the craziness of Halo being sort of compared against Killzone. In fact, some people called Killzone the Halo killer, although that definitely wasn't true. But there used to be this hype for your team winning. And when your team made a mistake, it hurt, you know? I knew a lot of people, when they revealed the Xbox One, they were actually pissed. People that had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Xbox 360 games, people that had put in thousands of hours playing and loving their Xbox 360, said, I don't want an always online system with a camera aimed at my balls. I'm going to jump over to PlayStation with the PlayStation 4. And then, as Xbox One continued to not really release games and stuff, almost everybody converted over to PlayStation 4. But I think a lot of people have been waiting for competition, for pushback, for something to actually say, hey, we're going to fight you directly. Now, the Nintendo Switch has been a massive, massive success. In fact, the Nintendo Switch has sold, I think it's now technically the highest selling game console of all time. And additionally, the Nintendo Switch, we have the raw numbers of it, has one of the highest attach rates, if not the highest attach rate of any game ever. Meaning that what that technically means, it's the technical term of every Nintendo Switch owner is buying like 25 games. And those games don't decrease in value. You know, they don't put stuff on sale. So the raw profitability of Nintendo, it truly is unmatched. But I've been thinking, it's been interesting that Nintendo's over here making games that maybe don't have the best graphics, maybe they don't have the best online functionality and stuff, but they're massive. And then PlayStation's been over here saying, okay, we're the hardcore gamer experience. Here's where you can come to play Spider-Man 2 and Helldivers and all the stuff that's going to blow your mind and get you engaged. Here's where you're going to be partying up with the boys. And I do feel like in the past, what's helped push PlayStation to not just be better, not just to work harder, but to generate more hype, to generate more excitement, has been the pushback from Xbox. And at this point, Xbox has just given up. Now, there is a lot of talks. People are basically saying, okay, even if console sales are down, we have the raw numbers. Everything about PlayStation has actually been way, way up. Game sales are up. Digital game sales are up. Add-on content is up, meaning people who are buying DLC or microtransactions. Everything across the board. They're coming up with new stuff like 120 FPS games via PS5 Game Cloud. Recently, they released the PlayStation Portal, which is the handheld device that's been very profitable. I feel like part of the reason that people are poo-pooing PlayStation or trying to discuss Xbox, it's that we're in a weird spot now where I do feel like PlayStation, even if they are still making good games, even if I still like their hardware, it does feel like there hasn't been that conversational playground combativeness that did sell systems in the past. When PlayStation's out here releasing games like Astro Bot that are winning Game of the Year and stuff, that's great. It's good for PlayStation. It's good for PlayStation gamers. But I feel like it's not selling PlayStations because the competition is saying weird, vague stuff like this. Forza 5 has reached 44 million players. What does this even mean? Like, let me be serious about this. I hate PR speak like this. And this is all freaking Xbox does now is, hey, we're happy to be part of the conversation. We want to be part of the ecosystem. We're not trying to even sell you an Xbox anymore. We just want you to buy Xbox games. And I do feel like I want to end the video with this. She says, this guy here is Boundary Break, very good YouTube channel. He puts out a great point here, which is that Xbox in a spot now, they could have almost made a comeback. Maybe. It's hard to say, right? The console sales are so bad, hard to recover at this point. But it says the irony here is they're positioning sales as the strong publishing company because they're going to be leaving the console race soon. But if they had focused on their many valuable game series for the purpose of having exclusives for the Xbox console, then they wouldn't be trying to salvage this as an alternative. And I do agree with this. I actually think this is a brilliant take in that back in the day, Xbox doing good made people buy Xboxes. PlayStation doing good made people buy PlayStation. But I'm also a big believer in the classic economic theory of the rising tide lifts all boats. I do think that when Xbox would release a really banger exclusive, people would buy PlayStations. People would realize, hey, I'm excited to play a game. I feel like the conversation when, something like Infamous comes out on the PS5 and it's big and cool, people would buy an Xbox 360 in prototype because that's the ecosystem they wanted to be in and they find the closest facsimile. Maybe that sounds weird, but I'm just saying that typically when it comes to the entire video game industry, it does feel like as games get more successful across the board, any game, any system, everybody wins. Everybody wins. But now that Xbox is just bowing out, I don't think people even know what they're up to. I was downstairs cooking a bunch of fajitas last night. I'm still having trouble eating, so I have to make these little soft bean-filled tortillas, and I got to chop the meat up real tiny. And my roommate walked in, and he said, "Hey, man, when does Avowed come out?" And I was like, "It is out. Like, it's out early access. It comes out on Monday if you want to use Game Pass." And he looked confounded. He's like, "Wait, I thought they just revealed it." I was like, no, they revealed Avowed in 2020. It's been 5 years of development. It's finally out. And it made me realize that even a lot of hardcore gamers do not know what Xbox is up to. I feel like at this point, the entire market is PC gaming, it's PlayStation gaming, and it's Nintendo gaming. And everybody's kind of in their own camps. PlayStation gamers are enjoying their stuff. Nintendo gamers are in this separate island. And PC gamers are over there modding titties onto Geralt and Witcher 3 and stuff like that. And I do find it interesting that the lack of bleed over, the lack of direct competition, the lack of butting heads, I do think it's kind of making it so there's less excitement to buy a system. That's just my off-the-cuff thought. So what do you guys think about the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X, and the Nintendo Switch 2 at this point? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.